Revealing your pain can sometimes invite others to hurt you. While not everyone will act this way, there are those who find satisfaction in your suffering or may even contribute to deepening it. This kind of behavior, rooted in envy or sadism, can appear in many aspects of life, whether in your workplace, social circles, or even among family. It can stifle your personal growth and affect your well-being if you're not careful. One powerful way to protect yourself is by learning to keep your vulnerabilities private. Picture yourself as a tree in the middle of a storm. Though the wind may cause your leaves to flutter and branches to bend, your trunk, strong and deeply grounded, remains steady. This image represents the quiet strength and resilience we want to help you cultivate. By mastering the art of appearing unshaken by external and internal struggles, you can turn challenges into opportunities for growth. It's not about denying the difficulties you face, but rather choosing not to let them overpower you. Think of each trial as a lesson in resilience, teaching you to remain calm and composed, much like that solid tree in the storm. You won't let the rain drench you or the wind uproot you, because you've learned to be the master of your own mind. Strong, firm, and serene, no matter the chaos around you. In this video, we'll explore 18 core principles of Stoicism, drawn from the great philosopher Epictetus, whose wisdom has stood the test of time. I also invite you to a deeper journey of self-discovery, where true strength isn't found in the roar of thunder, but in the quiet, unshakable stillness within. Distractions surround us, but let's focus. Principle 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever wondered why nature gave us 2 ears but only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, this wasn't by accident. It has a deeper purpose. We are not meant to fall in love with the sound of our own voice, but rather to engage with and learn from the voices of others. Personal growth comes from listening and learning, not endlessly repeating our own ideas. Starting today, try to pay more attention to what others are saying rather than fixating on your own thoughts and opinions. Principle 2. Always expect the worst. One of the greatest sources of anxiety stems from our fear of future misfortune. We constantly worry about things like our children struggling, losing our jobs, our relationships breaking down, or facing financial ruin. Each day, a new fear takes hold, leaving us in a constant state of stress. The truth is, life offers both joy and challenges, and hardships are inevitable. However, by preparing mentally for potential setbacks, we can lessen their emotional impact and better navigate life's difficulties. This doesn't mean living in constant dread, but rather accepting that problems are part of the journey. Principle 3. The hidden dangers of wealth. Wealth is often seen as the key to a better life, but it carries dangers we rarely consider. It can draw people into our lives who pretend to care, but their loyalty is often tied to what they can gain. Yet the bigger threat comes from within. Wealth has a way of quietly corrupting our own values. Once we achieve the financial success we long for, we might find ourselves changing, placing less value on things like integrity, compassion, and humility. Epictetus warns us to stay vigilant, for wealth can poison the spirit if we allow it to overshadow our moral compass. True success isn't about what we acquire, but about maintaining our character and staying grounded, no matter the fortune we accumulate. Principle 4. Diversify your dreams. We often pour all our hopes into one grand vision, thinking that achieving it will define our success. But Epictetus cautions against placing all your eggs in one basket. Life is unpredictable, and when we tie all our fulfillment to a single goal, failure can feel catastrophic. Instead, he urges us to pursue a variety of dreams and aspirations. By diversifying our ambitions, we increase the chances of success in multiple areas and shield ourselves from the emotional devastation that can come from the collapse of one pursuit. Think of it as planting several seeds. Some may not grow, but others will bloom beautifully, offering different kinds of fulfillment. Principle 5. Death as a guide to life's priorities. This principle isn't about embracing gloom, but recognizing the reality of life's brevity. Death is the only certainty, and Epictetus reminds us that acknowledging this can lead us to live more fully. How often do we spend years, even decades, chasing material possessions, believing they will bring lasting happiness? But in the end, what truly matters is not what we own, but the experiences we've had, the relationships we've nurtured, and the personal growth we've achieved. Remembering that time is limited helps us focus on what truly enriches our lives, allowing us to make choices that align with our deepest values, rather than being distracted by fleeting material gains. Principle 6. Guilt is a poison. we must reject. Small-minded people blame others, and many of us turn guilt inward, punishing ourselves for our mistakes. But the truly wise recognize that guilt is nothing more than a self-imposed prison, a trap that keeps us from moving forward. Epictetus teaches us that guilt is futile. It doesn't solve problems, it only amplifies them. Modern psychology now mirrors this ancient wisdom, showing that guilt stifles growth and clouds our judgment. By blaming others or even ourselves, we avoid the true challenge, taking responsibility for our actions. Real strength comes not from guilt, but from the courage to own our mistakes and transform them into lessons. It's the brave who refuse to play the blame game and instead choose the path of personal responsibility. In doing so, they free themselves from the toxic cycle of guilt and rise above it. Principle 7. Align with people who elevate you. We instinctively move away from someone sneezing, worried about catching a cold, yet we rarely stop to consider how easily we catch other people's negativity. Epictetus wisely advises us to be just as cautious about the company we keep as we are about avoiding illness. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on who we become. If you surround yourself with winners, those who inspire, challenge, and uplift, you'll rise to their level. But if you're constantly around those who drain your energy and lower your standards, you risk falling into the same traps. Success is contagious, just as much as mediocrity or failure. Choose relationships that push you to be better, that make you want to give your best, because their influence will shape your future. Principle 8. Your reactions shape your destiny. We often underestimate the power of our reactions, but they are the very tools that determine our success or failure. Epictetus was clear on this. While we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Misfortune, setbacks, and challenges are inevitable, but it is our response that defines the course of our lives. One person might see a divorce or hardship as the gateway to despair. Epictetus sees it as a chance for profound self-discovery. Your life is not defined by the events that unfold, but by how you rise to meet them. Every reaction is an opportunity to forge a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Remember, destiny is not what happens to you, it's what you make of it. Principle 9. Always fulfill your duty. In life, each of us has a role to play. Just as the sun rises every day without need for applause or praise, we too must rise to our responsibilities, no matter the recognition we receive or don't. Nature fulfills its purpose without hesitation, and so should we. Waiting for validation before acting not only lets down those who rely on us, but also undermines our own potential. Knowing your duty and carrying it out is a moral obligation, whether or not someone acknowledges it. Principle 10. Rise above hatred. Focus on your greatness. Hatred and negativity are distractions that pull you away from your true purpose. Epictetus teaches that when someone despises or criticizes you, the most powerful response is to rise above it. Don't waste time or energy on those who wish you harm. They don't even deserve a space in your mind. Engaging with their negativity only drags you down to their level. Instead, maintain your focus on your goals, growth, and inner peace. True strength comes from being immune to the toxic noise around you. By refusing to give others control over your emotions, you prove that you are far greater than the petty actions of those who try to bring you down. Principle 11. Simplicity unlocks true freedom. In a world obsessed with luxury and excess, simplicity offers a path to genuine freedom. Epictetus reminds us that chasing material wealth often leads to stress, debt, and pressure to maintain an unsustainable lifestyle. But when you choose simplicity, you free yourself from the burden of constantly keeping up with appearances and financial obligations. The peace that comes from living within your means allows you to focus on what truly matters: your growth, relationships, and inner happiness. By opting for simplicity, you gain the clarity and energy to live a life driven by purpose, not possessions. Principle 12. Master your reactions. Master your life. The moment you let someone else's words or actions anger you, you've handed them control over your emotional well-being. Epictetus teaches that the real power lies not in the actions of others, but in how you choose to react to them. When you stay calm and centered, no one can disrupt your inner peace. Your emotional state is in your hands. Choose to respond with grace and strength rather than allowing others to push your buttons. Remember, the keys to happiness or emotional ruin are within you. Master your reactions, and you'll master your life, regardless of what happens around you. Principle 13. Discover the hidden benefit in every challenge. Epictetus believed that no matter what happens, we have a responsibility to find the benefit in it. This isn't just about optimism, it's a mindset that transforms adversity into opportunity. Every obstacle carries a lesson, and it's up to us to uncover it. Picture a scenario where you lose your job. Instead of seeing this as a disaster, Epictetus would urge you to seize it as an opening to explore a new path, perhaps even pursuing a long-forgotten dream. Life constantly presents us with choices. We can either get stuck in lamentation or evolve by finding meaning in every challenge. Adopting this approach consistently will lead to growth and resilience, far surpassing what any amount of regret could achieve. Principle 14. Release what you can't control. Worrying about things outside of your control is like trying to catch the wind, futile and exhausting. Epictetus taught that while we can control our own actions and opinions, we have no say over how others perceive us or what life throws our way. You might strive for success, but the outcome is not always yours to command. True freedom comes from understanding where your power ends and fate begins. Instead of being consumed by frustration over things you can't change, focus on what you can, your values, your effort, and your response to circumstances. By mastering this, you'll find peace, even in the most uncertain situations. Principle 15. Cultivate contentment with what you have. Epictetus teaches that desire is the root of much of our suffering. We often long for what we do not have, constantly seeking more wealth, status, or recognition. But contentment comes from appreciating what is already in our grasp. The more you focus on gratitude for what you have, the less you will be swayed by the endless pursuit of external gains. True happiness doesn't come from acquiring more, but from valuing what you already possess. Principle 16. Understand the nature of things. Everything in life follows its natural course, whether it's people, possessions, or events. Epictetus reminds us that it is futile to rage against the nature of things. Instead, seek to understand life's impermanence and the constant flow of change. Accept that all things are temporary, including successes and losses. This acceptance fosters resilience, making us less attached to outcomes and more aligned with the natural rhythm of life. Principle 17. Practice voluntary discomfort. Epictetus suggests that we should occasionally practice discomfort, such as by sleeping on the floor or going without luxury, to remind ourselves that we can endure hardship. This practice trains us not to become too dependent on comfort or material goods. It sharpens our mental toughness and reminds us that we can survive and even thrive without the conveniences we take for granted. By choosing discomfort, we strengthen our ability to face life's inevitable challenges. Principle 18. Align your will with nature. The Stoics, including Epictetus, taught that happiness comes from aligning your will with nature's will. This means accepting things as they are and not as you wish them to be. When you stop resisting reality and start working with it, you free yourself from frustration and dissatisfaction. Aligning your will with nature means understanding that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is beyond our control. Focus instead on how you respond to life, and inner peace will follow. Conclusion: Epictetus's philosophy offers timeless wisdom for navigating life's challenges and uncertainties. By focusing on what is within our control, embracing discomfort, and understanding the impermanence of all things, we equip ourselves with the resilience and peace to live well. His teachings encourage us to rise above circumstances, not through passive acceptance, but through active responsibility, self-discipline, and wisdom. In the end, it is not what happens to us that defines our lives, but how we respond, grow, and find purpose through it all.